I'll turn to the ranking member.
Yeah, congratulations on your nomination. Before I get to questions, I wanted to talk about Justice Thomas writing a touching tribute to his former colleague and your former boss, Justice Ginsburg. This is what Judge Thomas said. Justice Ginsburg and I often disagreed, but at no time during our long tenure together were we disagreeable with each other. She placed a tremendous premium on civility and respect. This approach did not lessen her strong convictions, but rather facilitated a respectful environment in which disputes furthered our common enterprise of judging. Whether in agreement or disagreement, exchanges with her invariably sharpened our final work product. I noticed that, like Justice Ginsburg, you seem to have a capacity to work with, debate, and learn from people you probably disagree with. You wrote letters supporting the nominations of Judge Thapar and Judge Strass, both of whom were President Trump's Supreme Court short list. In your legal publications, you have thanked conservatives like Paul Clement, Judge Naomi Rao, for helping with your scholarship. You've spoken at the Federalist Society event. Has working with people that you may disagree with sharpened your legal arguments? Has it made you a better lawyer?
Absolutely, Senator Grassley.
It seems to me that you probably worked with many originalists in your years as a lawyer. Do you know any originalists who might want to overturn Brown versus Board of Education?
Senator Grassley, I certainly suspect that I have worked with people who would identify themselves as originalists. I don't feel it's my place to say whether someone else would identify themselves a particular way or not. I guess I would say I've met very few people in my life who have expressed interest in overturning Brown versus Board of Education.
Thank you for that answer. My last set of questions. You spent the last 3 years or so as Solicitor General. In that role, you've argued a number of views that I'm sure myself and many of my colleagues might disagree with. I'm sure you're aware that many of President Trump's judicial nominees had also served as state Solicitor General, like Kyle Duncan, Britt Grant, Andrew Brasher, and Eric Murphy, just to name a few. Is it fair to say that you have many arguments you may or may not agree personally with that you've had to make before the courts?
Thank you for that question, Senator Grassley. I have spent a long time litigating both on behalf of the federal government, on behalf of the state government, and in private practice. I take my obligations, my ethical obligations as a lawyer very seriously, so I don't think I'm permitted to identify any cases where I did or did not personally agree with an argument that my client was making. I think I can say without violating my obligations that there may have been cases that did or did not better or worse align with my own personal views, but that's because that's not the role of an advocate. The role of an advocate is to represent their client and make arguments on behalf of their client.
I think you just answered my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Aren't you duty-bound to zealously advocate on behalf of Virginia's interests as Solicitor General?
Absolutely, Senator Grassley.
Can you describe the differences in roles between being a judge and being a state Solicitor General? That's my last question.
Of course, Senator Grassley. I think the roles are complementary in the sense that both the role of advocate and the role of judge are necessary to make our system work the way it is supposed to. But they are different, fundamentally different roles. The role of an advocate, whether for the state government, whether for the federal government, or for a private party, is to advocate on behalf of their client. The role of a judge is to apply the law and reach the correct outcome in a particular case.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Grassley. Senator Durbin.